In this video, I am going to go through some of the math ACT problems. So let's take a look at the first one. So here we have, if A, B, and C are different prime numbers, and then A times B times C squared is 140, what is the product of A, B, and C? So here we're looking for A, B, and C, and then come up with the product of it. So here's what I would do with this problem. I would break down the 140 into prime factors. Okay, so here you have 140. We're going to break down the 140. Now 140 is an even number, so we know that 2 can go into it. So we're going to use 2 times 70. And then 70, we can break it down into 2 times 35. And then 35, we can do 5 and 7. Okay, so here are the prime factorization of 140. So you got 2, 2, and then 5 and 7. The equation that was given to us is that you have A, B, C squared is 140. So going back and look at these prime numbers. So there are 4 of them. AB, so AB are 2 different numbers. And then C is another different number, but there's 2 of them. So it looks like the C is going to be 2. And then the 5 and the 7, that doesn't matter. That could be one of them is A and then the other one is B. So we can go 5 times 7. And then C squared, that would be 2 squared, right? So we can set it up like that, and then you know that comes out to 140. So that would be 5 times 7 times 2. Okay, so 5 times 7 is 35. And then 35 times 2 is 70. So the correct answer is 70. We would pick C for that. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. So here we have, if n is a negative number and p is a positive number, which of the following is the lowest? Okay, so here's what I would do with this problem. Make up a number for n and then p. So we know n is a negative number. So we can say, okay, we can let n equals to some negative number. So let's call it negative 3. And then p is a positive number, so we can call it 4. Okay, now it doesn't have to be these 2 numbers. Okay, you could pick any other numbers for n and p. Okay, we're just trying to work these numbers out using these expressions over here. Okay, and see which one comes out to the lowest number. Okay, so the first one we have np squared. Okay, so that would be negative 3 times 4 squared. So that's negative 3 times 16. So that's going to give me negative 48. So this is a really low number because of the negative. Okay, so negative 48. Okay, the next one we have pn squared. So this one would be 4. Okay, but then we times it with negative 3 squared. So that would be 4 times 9, and that's 36. So this one is higher than negative 48. So this one's no good. And the B is no good. Okay, so the next one we have P minus 2n. So P take away 2n. Well, P is 4. Take away 2 times negative 3. Okay, so here we have negative times negative, which makes it positive. So this is going to be a positive number. So this is higher than the negative 48. 2 minus pn is no good. Next one is p minus n. And then that would be 4 take away negative 3. Okay, so again here, negative times negative is positive. So this ends up with 4 plus 3, and that is 7. So the 7 is higher than negative 48. And then on to the last one. Now this is going to be a positive number because you end up squaring whatever the number inside the parenthesis is, right? Okay, so here we have p plus n. Okay, so that's going to be 4 plus negative 3. And then we have to square it. So that would be 1. And then when you square 1, you get 1. So that's a positive number. So this is higher than negative 48. Okay, so the correct answer is negative 48. It's the lowest number of all the expressions given to us. So we would pick A as the correct answer for this one. Okay, so let's look at the next ACT problem here. So it says, at which y values does the circle defined by the equation x plus 2 square plus y minus 3 square equals to 37. So this is the equation for the standard form of a circle intersect the y-axis when drawn in the xy coordinate plane. Okay, so we're looking for y, find out what y is using the given equation. For this problem, I would like to draw a picture, make a sketch. Okay, it's just to give me a better idea seeing it. Okay, so here's the coordinate plane. Okay, so the given equations we have here is x plus 2 square plus y minus 3 square is 37. Okay, so to find the center of the circle, it's the opposite of this, which is negative 2. Okay, so that would be negative 2 for the x coordinate. And then for the y coordinate, it's opposite of negative 3, which is positive 3. Okay, so this is the center. The center of this given circle is at negative 2, 3. So negative 2, 2 to the left, and then up 3. Okay, so here's the center of the circle. Now the radius of this circle is 37. 37 is not a perfect square. So if you take square root of 37, it's not going to come out to a nice even number. Okay, so r square. So r square is 37. What if we try r squared equals to 36? Now 36, we know it's a perfect square, right? We take square root of 36, we get what, 6? So r here would be 6. Okay, so 37 is going to be 6 point something. Okay, 6.1, or we don't know, right? We can use 6 point something here to work with. So the radius is a little over 6. So we go a little over 6 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll be over here. Okay, and then down here we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'll be somewhat over here. Okay, so here we have this circle, something like that, right? And we're trying to find the y value. So the y value here, okay, what is y here? Okay, and then the other y value is up here, right? If you extend the axis, so you have the other y value up here. So we're trying to find out what those y value is. Okay, given the equation. So, well, what is the x value? So we got to know the x or the y, right? So in order for us to get y, we have to know what x is. What would be the x value for this location here? Well, the x is going to be 0. Okay, so it's going to be 0 something, right? Okay, and that's what we're trying to find out. That's something. And then here you have 0, comma y, and we don't know what y is, so we're trying to find that out. Okay, so we're going to plug 0. We know what x is, so we can plug 0 into x and then solve for y, and that's going to give us y. So x is 0 here, so you have 0 plus 2, right? We're using these equations right here. So 0 plus 2 is going to be 2, so 2 squared. And then y minus 3 squared. Okay, we don't know what y is. We're solving for it. And then that comes out to 37. Okay, solve for y. So here we have 4 plus y minus 3 squared is 37. And then subtract 4. Okay, so this is gone. So here we have y minus 3 squared is, here you have 37, take away 4, that's going to be 33. So up here we have y minus 3 squared is 33. Okay, and then square root it to get rid of the square. So I would have to square root y minus 3 square and then take square root of 33. So here the square takes out the square root. So you're left with y take away 3 equals plus or minus square root of 33. To get y all by itself, it's going to be 3 plus or minus square root of 33. So this is what y is. So the top is going to be 3 plus square root of 33, and then the bottom intersection will be 3 minus square root of 33. So we go back up here to the problem. We would pick h because you had 3 plus square root of 33 and then 3 minus square root of 33. So this is the correct answer. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. So here we have if f of x comma y is 2x plus y squared, and then f of 5, 2 is the same as f of p negative 2. What is the value of p? This one is okay. It just requires a lot of steps. Okay, but if you just set it up step by step, you can see it's pretty easy to understand. Okay, so we're given f of x y to be 2x plus y squared. Okay, and then f of 5, 2 okay, is the same as f of p negative 2. Okay, so here you would have to find what f of 5, 2 is, right? And then find what f of p negative 2 is, and then set them equals to each other, and then solve for p. Okay, so it's just a lot of plugging in here. So to find f of 5, 2, okay, you know your x is 5 and your y is 2. So that would be 2 times 5. So 2 times x is 2 times 5. Plus y squared. So that's just going to be 2 squared. So this would be 10 plus 4. Okay, and that's going to give me 14. So this right here is 14. So now we're going to go ahead and find out what this is. So to find out what that is, we would work with f of p negative 2. Okay, so 2 times x is p, so 2p, so 2 times p, plus negative 2 squared. Okay, so that's going to be 2p plus 4. Okay, and then we cannot add these because they are not like terms. So this is what f of p negative 2 is. Okay, we were told that f of 5, 2 is the same as f of p negative 2. So we have to set them equals to each other. So here 2p plus 4 is 14. Okay, so we take this and we set it equals to this. And then we solve for p, and that will give us p. So here to solve for p, take away 4. So p is 10. Because this add up to 0. So divide by 2. So p is 5. So the value of p is 5. Let's go back to the problem. So here we would pick B to have the correct answer. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one here. So here we're given that its diagonal is 10 and its height is 6. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? Okay, so here's a rectangle. We know that the diagonals is 10. Okay, and the length is 6. If this is 6, then we know that the opposite side is 6. So that would be 6. So we would have to find this side, which is the same as this. And then when we have all the sides, we can add them all up to come up with the perimeter. Okay, so to find the side here, let's take a look at this triangle right here. Okay, which you have a right triangle. Okay, so you're given two sides. You know the hypotenuse and you know one of the sides of the leg. You can find the other sides by using the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, which is the a squared plus b squared is c squared. Now the a and the b are the legs of the triangle, and then the c is the hypotenuse. So 6 could be your a or b, doesn't matter. So we can go a squared, right, plus 6 squared. Then that would be c squared, and that's going to be 10 squared. Okay, solve for a to get us the other side. So a squared plus 36 is 100. Take away 36. Take away 36. Okay, so a squared. So this add up to 0. And then over here we have 64. So to go from a squared to a, we would have to do square root of a squared and then square root of 64. And then your a is going to be plus or minus 8. Okay, but we only need the positive 8 because it has to do with how long it is, the length. And that cannot be a negative number. So 8 it is. So we go back up here. We say that this is 8. Okay, I know it doesn't make sense right now because the 6 is supposed to be shorter than the 8, right, in terms of how long it is. Okay, so this would be 8. So to come up with the perimeter, we would add up all those numbers. So it'd be 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8. Okay, so that would be 14 and 14. So that's going to give us 28. Okay, so the correct answer is 28. And we would pick A for this one. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. We're going to do this one more. This would be the last one in this video. So given that the tangent theta is 1 and that the size opposite the angle marked theta is 11 units long, what is the length in units of the hypotenuse of the triangle? I'm going to draw a right triangle here. Okay, so here's a right triangle. Okay, so the theta, we're going to place theta over here. That's the rough angles that we're going to work from. It says that the size opposite the angle marked theta is 11. So this side is 11. Okay, so this is the given triangle. So we have to come up with the hypotenuse. So the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, so we're going to call this x. So in order for us to work this out, we need to know the trig ratios for a right triangle, and that would be here, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, this is the phrase we use to help us memorize the ratios. Okay, so here we have sine. S is sine, opposite over hypotenuse. C is cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. And then tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so tangent theta, okay, is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so what it's telling us right here is that tangent theta, so it's given to us tangent theta is 1. So to get 1, what do we need for this side right here? Okay, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 11. So the opposite side is right here. So that would be tangent theta is 11 over, well, we need this to come out to 1. So what do we need for the bottom number? Well, we also need 11, right? Because 11 over 11 is 1. So this side is going to be 11. So here's a triangle again. So theta is here, right? And we have 11 here and then 11 here. So we're looking for this side. Well, there's two ways that you can do this. You can use the Pythagorean Theorem because you're given two sides. You know two sides. You can use the Pythagorean Theorem to come up with the third side. Because the two legs are the same, it's one of those special right triangle, which is the 45, 45, 90 degree right triangle. Okay, so in a special right triangle, a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. So if this is x, this is also x. And the hypotenuse is square root of 2 longer than what x is. So if you compare that to this given triangle, x is going to be 11 square root of 2. Okay, so it's square root of 2 longer than the leg. If you were to use the Pythagorean theorem, let's say we use the Pythagorean theorem to work this out. So that would be a squared plus b squared is c squared. Okay, so a is 11. So that would be 11 squared plus 11 squared again is c squared. 11 squared is 121. 121. And then c squared. Okay, so adding these up is going to give us 242. And then c squared. And then take the square root of it. And then you would have to simplify square root of 242. So c, we can simplify this using 121 times 2. And then square root of 121 is 11. So this would be 11 square root of 2. Okay, so a lot longer way. Okay, but if you happen to don't remember your special right triangle, you can do it this way using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so the correct answer here, okay, we would pick C for 11 square root of 2.